Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is Jerry Trades and I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. Welcome back to another YouTube video. And on today's video, I want to go ahead and have the conversation with you guys about getting started with your journey in the stock market. So I know many individuals, especially if you're young, getting into social media, you're seeing a lot of people talk about trading, day trading, traders making 15,000, 1,000, 100, 300 in minutes and hours and sometimes seconds. Yes. It's real. The money is there, and it's a huge journey that can change your life 100%. And I agree with it. I believe everyone in this world should learn how to trade, as it's a skill set that helps you increase your income. More importantly, learn how to make more with what you currently have, taking the responsibility and the power given to you. While most people depend on banks and financial institutions to monitor and take care and grow their money, it's very important, I believe personally, for every individual to learn how to do it themselves. So trading is a great vehicle to make more money with what you currently have and getting started, but it's also one that's extremely high risk. So I make this video because I want you guys to have a good experience with the stock market. I don't want you guys to have a rough experience in your 20s and never ever look back at this thing throughout your late 20s, your early 30s, your late 40s, your 50s, your 60s, and just give it the left cheek and never look at it again. That's horrible. And too many people are oftentimes run into that experience. They lose so much in their first couple of months of trading that they forget about the entire vehicle of the stock market and what it can do. So I'm here to give you guys a fair warning. Do not start with trading. Start with investing. See, investing is going to be what really shapes the financial structure and the growth in your money and your portfolio with a lot less risk. If you go and buy companies, which is a funny topic now that we speak about it, these are all assets, meaning that every little stock that you buy, whether it be a Google stock, an Amazon stock, an Apple stock, a Tesla stock, a Meta stock, a Microsoft stock, the variety is huge. Any stock that you buy, typically, if they're a well-established company, if you look at history, if we would have all purchased these companies 5 years ago, we'd have significantly more money than we did today. Especially if we date back as far as 6 years ago, Tesla used to be going for around, I believe, $55 a share, even maybe 35, 55 I think is the highest. This amount of, this share price 6 years ago, if you go and compare it to what it was just a week ago, it was at 390. Now, 6 years passes by like nothing. For some people, that's the date that they started college to when they finish college, or for some people, it just passes by. 6 years will fly by. Many of us have already lived more than 6 years, and we can all agree, yeah, 6 years feels like, it sounds like an eternity, but it passes. So learning to establish your portfolio and your money now to be able to let it grow into your future is where you want to start. And a lot of these companies are not done growing. I spoke about it briefly in my last video. Google went ahead and just announced $215 billion in capital expenditure just in 2027. And Tesla went ahead and announced an additional $25 billion in capital expenditure in just 2026. This is an immense amount of income that these companies are dispensing and investing into themselves to build out for the future. And this is something that I want you guys to view as an opportunity. Tesla and Google are not the only ones investing. You have Amazon reaching capital expenditure of also $100 billion plus. Apple recently in 2026 received a $100 billion investment from the US government for domestic production. These companies are pivoting for the future to grow into something much more valuable and much more significant in our day-to-day economy. So trusting your money in these companies can maybe not result in multitudes of income being compounded, but it's a safe way to grow your money, a safe way to expose yourself to the stock market. And this is why I tell you guys, get started with investing, because usually it's normal human psychology that when you have a positive reinforcement, a positive result from experiencing or doing something new, you're going to tend to do it again. And I hate to attach this to maybe like, you know, I'll try not to, but if you go with your friends to the casino, right? We're all young in our 20s. Hey, you go and have a good night at the casino and your buddies are like, come on, let's go. You won't have to put a lot of money. And if you show up with $100 and you walk out of the casino with $100 and you turn it into $2,000, the next time your friends invite you to go to the casino, you're probably going to be more inclined to going. Or if you're trying a new food that you've never tried before, and guess what, it just so happened to taste so good, and now next time you get invited to go eat it, you have a lot less resistance about going to try it, going to have it for dinner, right? And that's how life works. When you get positive reinforcement, it encourages you to keep on going. So in the stock market, oftentimes people that get into trading as their first step, and I want to be more specific here, trading stock options is what I'm talking about. Many individuals go and trade prop firms. That's their majority of the common form of trading. People go trade futures with prop firm accounts. That's a whole different conversation. But if you're in the big leagues and you're trading stock options, this is a very high risk asset class to be investing and trading with, because these assets will expire. You will lose money and it will go to absolute zero. But there's also the flip side of you making a lot of money and it potentially multiplying. So there's a two-sided sword here. But if you're just getting started and you're in your first month or 2 or 3 months of trading stock options, learn. Focus on understanding a chart. Focus on understanding supply and demand areas of a company, where share prices begin to get bought up at and where share prices begin to get sold off at. So you're more comfortable when pressing puts and call options and entering positions. Everything's about a learning experience, and while you're learning, it doesn't mean don't put any money into the stock market. For me, it took me about 2 to 3 years to be able to understand how to really invest in options profitably. But in the first 2 to 3 years that I was getting started, I was also investing in the stock market. I was buying Tesla at $55 a share. I bought my AMD shares at $91 a share. I was buying XRP at 31 cents, sold it for $3.15. I bought Ethereum for $1,200, sold it for $4.3 thousand. I had significant results that pushed me positively to continue down this field of investing and trading, because I had positive results. And it started with investing. It didn't start with trading. Trading honestly began to discourage me because I lost more than I made, but I had a taste of the winning side because I invested first. And I share this with you guys as a pointer because I want all of you guys to have the best experience in the stock market. See, many people do oftentimes make a lot of money in the stock market, but they also do lose it. And it's important that you build up your experience, your positive, I guess you can say, experiences with the stock market soon, conservatively. Don't go all in, don't go putting more than you can afford to lose, but know that investing is a much safer asset class in just buying stocks than going to trade stock options. And I myself run a stock option trading community, and I've seen the consequences of individuals going heavy into stock options and ignoring the compound effect of investing and then never wanting to touch the stock market again. And that's the worst thing you can do for yourself, because the money's going to be made. Someone else is going to plant their money today and reap the result of it 3 to 5 or 10 years from now. And I'd want you guys to be one of those individuals. I want you guys to have a great experience in the stock market. So pace yourself and understand the component of long-term thinking. Many individuals often turn away the left cheek because they have to wait 3 to 5 years. Guys, that time is going to pass by. Build the sacrifice, build the maturity to pay yourself now and incorporate the habit of investing so you see the result later on in life. Some of the greatest business owners, some of the greatest entrepreneurs, or in people's careers, doctors go to school for 10 years to get paid what they get paid, but at the end, it's worth it. So I highly encourage you guys to understand patience throughout your life and get started with the stock market via investing. And then as you begin to build capital and you have a decent amount saved, I oftentimes recommend individuals that have their first $15,000, $20,000 already allocated in stocks with a positive result. Hey, whatever you have extra, maybe you can diversify yourself into beginning to trade stock options and building up a more concrete understanding. But before trading stock options, get started with investing. And while you're investing, practice with vehicles like paper trading. I know TradingView has a replay mode for you to understand how to navigate price action in certain stocks during certain times of the day. This is going to help you build the learning curve while also earning through investing. And then once you learn stock options, now you'll earn through stock options. But it's a process, and be patient with yourself. Another component that many people oftentimes neglect is that it's your first time doing this. It's your first time seeing green and red charts, understanding what they mean and experiencing it. Be patient. Not because you see other 20-year-olds or 30-year-olds bringing in tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or hundreds of dollars, or multitude of tens of thousands, you want to feel like, hey, I'm not getting that result, I throw in the towel, it's over for me. That's not where you want to be placing your mindset at. It's a learning experience for all of us. And remember, everything you see on the internet, for the most part, is going to be people's positive experiences. Not everyone talks about the negatives, and it's here the I stand to give you guys a fair warning that exists. So many individuals do lose a lot of money trading stock options and in the stock market. So you want to make sure that you approach this thing with a lot of responsibility. Make sure that before investing in the stock market, you're doing a lot of research. You're getting involved in the macroeconomic state of the world, geopolitical conflicts, understanding how oil prices impact inflation, how inflation impacts the Federal Reserve's interest rate cut decision, how the Federal Reserve's interest rate cut decision impacts the stock market, and different factors that come at play, such as political factors, economic factors, company factors that impact the state of the stock market, are all things that you want to get familiar with as you mature and you take on this journey. So I give you guys a heads up, man. Prioritize more of the long-term approach using the stock market to invest, and then use trading stock options as a little bit of a side gig, a little bit of a cherry on top that you'll say to your sundae. You know what I mean? It's going to help you build a positive result, begin making your money work for you, which is what we all desire, making money in our sleep, making sure that our money's growing. That's going to help you with investing. Trading stock options requires a lot of time, a lot of attention for the most part. And I recommend that if you don't have that time or attention, investing in stocks is going to be the best thing you can do. And if you don't believe me, look at some of the biggest companies and what they were worth 5 years from now, and you'll be like, wow, like 5 years ago, they were a lot cheaper than they are now. If I would have put 10,000 here, 20,000 here, I'd have roughly $100,000, $80,000. And yeah, Tesla's share price 6 years ago was at $55. You would have put 100,000 back. Now you would have close to $1 million. And that's what happens when you invest money. Of course, the multitude, the grand numbers help provide that enormous result. But if you don't have a lot, don't ever think that a little bit won't grow. And that's the beauty of it. You don't need a lot to get started. Not because you can't afford a full share of Tesla at $390 doesn't mean you can't invest. You can still buy partials in a company that will help your money grow. Compound at the percentage of growth that company is growing at. So my fair warning to all of you guys is begin investing in the stock market before you jump into trading. And it's going to help you a lot in your journey and having positive reinforcement with your experience in the stock market and not throwing the towel too soon while you learn. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all for watching. Jerry Trades with SoCal Trading Group, over and out.